In terms of when one should drink vintage port is a fantastically versatile wine. Tradition has it that, of course, you drink vintage port when it's quite old, when it's fully mature, and this can be when it's 20 or 30 years old or even more. And of course, if you wait that long and you enjoy and have the privilege of drinking old vintage port, you get a wine which has extraordinary finesse and subtlety and fantastic aromas and flavours that could only be gained by long aging in bottle. But the great joy of vintage port is that it can also be drunk when it's young. A young vintage port is a wine with great fruit and vibrance and richness of style. I'd just like to show you a couple of vintage ports. This vintage port has spent some 29 years in bottle, and it's acquired the sort of characteristics that could only be achieved by long maturation in bottle. The subtlety of this wine and this elegance and finesse is something absolutely extraordinary. On the other hand, this vintage port is a very young vintage port, full of dark, rich red colours, and on the nose it's beautifully rich in fruit and vibrance. And it's so exciting to see how these wines develop, how they change, how they mature, and the great differences you get as the wine ages.